The movie I decided to watch for my children's review was The Freedom Riders. I believe the overall moral that the producers wanted the students to see is to always do the right thing, even when it's hard, and to treat others with respect and compassion, even if they're different than you. The producers also wanted them to show that you can't just assume a person's situation defines who they are and is based on their actions. Some of the primary characters in this movie was Miss Erin Grewell. She was a freshman English teacher at Woodrow Wilson High School. She was entering her first year as a teacher and had high goals for these students. This was also during the time that there was a voluntary integration of Woodrow Wilson High School. This also occurs in the background of the Rodney King riots in LA. One student was Marcus. Marcus had trouble trusting authority. He was accused of murder as a kid and was kicked out of the house for being a gang member. Throughout the movie, he develops a passion for learning. With the unconditional support of Miss Grewell, Marcus changed immensely throughout the movie and was finally able to move back in with his mom after his mom saw that he didn't want to be a part of the gang life anymore and that he was maturing and growing as a kid. Ava had a tough life. Her father was a Latina gang member, resulting in her becoming the third generation gang member. She believed life was a war, putting up a tough front and never letting anyone in. In the beginning of the movie, she watched her boyfriend shoot Cindy's boyfriend accidentally. By believing in her and loving her unconditionally, Miss Grewell was able to break down Ava's walls, and Ava eventually testified against her boyfriend, which was risking her life. Cindy was an Asian gang member. It was revealed during the movie that she was in a refuge camp, and she viewed that place as prison. Cindy and Ava were at conflict with one another throughout the whole movie because their gangs were at odds. Throughout the movie, she began to trust Miss Grewell and started to write more intimate entries in her journal. At the beginning of the movie, Andre was an African American kid who got in many fights and was very aggressive. He was a very tough kid and had trouble trusting authority, which was shown when he asked Miss Grewell why she deserved trust and respect. What did she do to earn that trust and respect from those kids? He lived with his mother in the projects. In one scene, he was shown selling drugs to make a living. In the movie, Andre began to doubt himself and gave himself a failing grade. Grewell confronted him about this and told him she believed in him and that he could do much better. Wow, was this a changing moment in Andre's life. Andre was able to believe in himself and ultimately became a better student because of that confrontation Miss Grewell had with him. Ben is the only white kid in Miss Grewell's English class. He was very shy and outspoken and seemed to fear the other ones in his class. He repeatedly said, "Can I just get out of here?" By Miss Grewell creating an atmosphere of trust in that class, Ben was able to overcome his fear and become friends with his classmates, which is shown at the end of the movie when he went up and shook his classmates' hands. Although he was the only white kid in that class, he was still able to learn from his classmates, even if he wasn't experiencing the same thing, which is incredible. The primarily underlying message that is presented in this film that most people fail to realize is that even though these institutions such as the education system seem to want to fail these lower income students in the class, there were people within that system who wanted to see them succeed and who wanted to give them those opportunities that those upper income students are receiving. Examples of these such would be the superintendent of the school district, who actually started the integration program and thought it would be a good thing for them. The principal at Woodrow Wilson High School never shot down an idea Miss Grewell had for those kids. He was always there supporting them and encouraging, never telling her no. Yes, he may not have thought that her ideas were achievable for those students, but he never shot her down and told her no. And finally, the local business leaders who provided books, brand new books for those students who had never seen a brand new book. And in the story, when they open the Anne Frank book, which is brand new, they say, wow, this is brand new. Because they never experienced that. They had always been given workbooks. And then another local business leader provided 35 books or 35 computers for those kids to write and type those diary entries to become a book. The underlying moral and how this could impact children is to always look for the helpers in the world, like Mr. Rogers says. Even when it seems like everyone against you or everyone around you is against you, there's always one person in your corner wanting the best for you and wanting to see you succeed. Talking to a team is very interesting. The message he got was that your past and where you're from doesn't define who you are. It doesn't define the future that you have. You can change the way you are to receive a better future. The teen viewed the explicit message of being compassionate and being respectful to people to be more important than the implicit of looking around, seeing those helpers, wanting to see you succeed. Because he said it was hard for him to relate to that because he didn't live in a society that he didn't have the support from home or his leadership at school have that. He also said it was hard to see the implicit message because it was not directly apparent like the explicit message was. He said it also wasn't close to his own personal experiences because he didn't live in a lower income neighborhood and that had a ton of gang violence. So it was very eye-opening for him to experience and see that. I would definitely show this in my classroom as a behavior management strategy because she was able to gain the respect of those students by not just putting them in a box that we like to put our students based on their backgrounds, but getting to know their lives and realizing what they fight day by day. In that type of setting, students think you have to gain their respect and gain their trust. And I firmly believe that getting to know your students on a deeper level like that allows you to gain that trust and allows you to see them from a different view. And I think that was the turning point in that movie because it allowed Miss Grewell to see that what her kids were going through and why they were maybe misbehaving at school. And as they say, all the wars around them that they were fighting. I think it has an incredible meaning behind it, and I think students would really benefit from seeing that and watching that movie and having a conversation about that movie and what that movie means. Thank you.